This is Atlantic Television Network. Welcome to Global News at 9. First, the headlines. RSIEC calls for stakeholders meeting Wednesday, March 5. Gunmen kidnap Catholic priest in Edo State. Tinubu appoints Babatunde as Accountant General. PENCOM inaugurates Committee for Non-Interest Pensions. IMF warns against strike in Sri Lanka. Flamingos move to Pretoria for South Africa clash. Dolly Parton's husband is dead.
The board, management and staff of Morrison Media Group presents the 2025 anniversary lecture of Atlantic Television Network and Wish 99.5 FM. Theme: Imperative of Private Media in Sustainable Development.
Keynote speaker, Professor Tony Iradia, erudite scholar and broadcast guru. Chairman, Professor Umar Pat, President, Society of Broadcasters. And Vice Chancellor, Federal University of Kashiri, Gombe State. Panelists: Chief Honorable Arthur C. Kalabo, Information and Communication Expert; Dr. Haka Tuait, Lecturer, Public Relations, Media and Communication; Dr. Bekwele Lawrence D.K., Lecturer, Marketing Communication and Public Relations; Opaka Dakuba, Chairman, South Nigerian Union of Journalists; Susan Serekara Mbikana, Chairperson, Nawach, River State. Chief Host, Dr. Chinyere Igwe, Esquire, FSM, FINC, FNINN, MNIM, ARPA, MIPPA. Chairman, Morrison Group. Date: 10th of March 2025. Venue: Dimeji Banquet Hall, Gate Place Hotel, Kilometer 5 East West Road by Obirikwere Flyover, Rumosi, Port Harcourt. Time is 11 a.m.
Call Kehinde Paul Obofadi on 0802-301-5728. That is 0802-301-5728. Or info@atlanticnetwork.tv or info@wishfm995ph.com. You can also call Laurentia Ogu on 0818-344-6746. That is 0818-344-6746. Or lead content at atlanticnetwork.tv. This is signed by management.
Chairman of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, Justice Adolphus Enebeli, has invited leaders of all political parties, traditional rulers and security agencies, religious organizations, the media, professional organizations, community-based groups and electorates to a stakeholders meeting on Wednesday, March 5, 2025 at the RSIEC headquarters, Aba Road. A statement signed by Honorable Justice Enebeli said highlights of the meeting will be the unveiling of the timetable and guidelines for the 2025 local government election in the state. It also said all interested persons should be seated for the meeting by 2 p.m. This is coming following the Supreme Court ruling that ordered for a fresh local government election in all 23 local government areas across the state. Bayelsa State Government has lifted the ban on employment in the state civil service. The state government made this known in a special announcement signed by the Permanent Secretary, Civil Service Commission, Dr. Stanley Sokarion, Tuesday. Sokari said all applications should reach the Commission no later than March 21st, 2025, and the letters should be addressed to the chairman of the Bayelsa State Civil Service Commission, indicating the position being sought: age, sex, hometown, local government area, qualification, relevant professional certificates, and working experience. This is coming after the embargo that came into effect after the employment of 1,000 graduates during the last administration of Henry Seriake Dixon. Nigerian Navy has sealed illegal refining sites as part of their efforts to fight against crude oil theft, pipeline vandalism, and other acts of economic sabotage. This is coming after the personnel of the Forward Operating Base Excables discovered and sealed 3 illegal refining sites at Obodo in the Omadino Riverine Community, Warri, southwest local government area of Delta State. The commanding officer of FOB Excables, Navy Captain Ikena Okoloagu, who led the operation, told journalists that the sites contain approximately 3,700 liters of stolen crude oil and 2,600 liters of illegally refined automotive gas oil stored in 5 ovens, 12 dug-out pits, and 33 polythene sacks. According to him, the successful operation, which was carried out in support of the ongoing Operation Delta Sanity II, was based on credible intelligence. Navy Captain Okolagu used the opportunity to warn potential economic saboteurs and the oil sector to desist from illegal activities, as the base will stop at nothing to deny them freedom of action and ensure they are brought to justice. Suspected gunmen have kidnapped a Catholic priest, Reverend Father Philip Ekeli, and a seminarian, Peter Andrew, from St. Peter Catholic Church in Iviukwa Community, Esako East local government area of Edo State. Police sources confirmed the incident on Tuesday to security expert Zagazola Makama, saying that the attack happened on Sunday night around 11:30 p.m. That police got a distress call from the chairman of the Police Community Relations Committee, Mr. Inyade Gabriel, that the church was under attack. During the attack, local vigilantes clashed with the gunmen, killing one of the attackers. His body was taken to the General Hospital mortuary in Agenebode. A joint search and rescue team made up of soldiers from the Nigerian Army's 195 Battalion, police officers, vigilantes, and local hunters are currently searching for the victims and the kidnappers. Imo State Police Command, sequel to a series of complaints of kidnapping incidents in Irete and other communities in Owerri West local government area, have conducted an operation at a forest leading to the arrest of 4 suspected kidnappers. The operation, according to the command spokesperson, DSP Henry Okoye, is part of ongoing efforts to rid the state of criminal elements who are responsible for the recent surge in abductions and other violent crimes in the area. He said the apprehension of the suspect was made successful based on credible intelligence, which the operatives acted upon by besieging the hideout of the criminals and a forest within the Irete axis. Okoye also said the operation led to the apprehension of 4 suspects, and upon searching the suspects and their hideout, 3 fabricated guns with 6 rounds of live cartridges and 3 machetes were recovered, adding that the police command is using the medium to call on the public to remain vigilant and law-abiding as security operations continue across the state. Enugu State Police Command has arrested 7 male suspects for conspiracy and armed robbery. Daniel Ndukwe, Police Public Relations Officer, confirmed the arrest in a statement on Tuesday that the suspects were arrested following a report of armed robbery at Ibagwa Nike, Enugu on February 3rd and 6, 2025 to the State Criminal Investigation Department following credible intelligence after reports of robberies on February 3rd and 6, 2025. The suspects, who were apprehended by the Anti-Robbery D9 section, have confessed to the crime and will be arraigned in court once investigations are concluded. Commissioner of Police CP Kanayo Uzuebu urged residents to remain law-abiding, vigilant, and supportive of the police to reduce crime in Enugu State. Tanker explosion in the early hours of Tuesday claimed the lives of 2 persons in Ibadan, Oyo State. The incident, which occurred around Gapstar Mega Petrol Station, Orita Challenge, in the Oluyole local government area, happened at about 5 a.m. Eyewitnesses said that the victims, identified as the driver of the tanker and his motorboy, were burnt beyond recognition. Confirming the incident, the Special Advisor on Fire Services Reform to Governor Seyi Makinde and Chairman of the State Fire Services Agency, Moruf Akinwade, said firefighters responded swiftly to the emergency and the situation is now under control. Ogun State Police Command has arrested a teenager, Olamide Phillips, for allegedly stabbing his friend Moses Ode to death during a fight on Obanlede Street in the Isara area of the state. The police said the incident occurred around 6:30 p.m. on Sunday at the residence of their parents in the community. The command spokesperson, Chief Superintendent of Police, Omolola Odutola, confirmed the suspect's arrest on Tuesday. Although the cause of the quarrel between the two friends remain unclear, Odutola said the fight began when Ode walked in as his father was reprimanding Philip, adding that the victim succumbed to his injuries at the hospital where he was taken for medical treatment in the community. She disclosed that after Ode's death, police operatives from the Isara division launched a manhunt for Phillips and arrested him in Ipara, Remo, a neighboring community where he had been hiding, adding that the case would be transferred to the State Criminal Investigation and Intelligence Department in Abeokuta for further investigation. Ilori Zonal Command of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has arraigned 6 officials of the Kwara State Universal Basic Education Board before the State High Court in Ilori over the alleged misappropriation of 96 million naira. The defendants were arraigned before Justice Suleiman Akambi on a 4-count charge bordering on criminal breach of trust and misappropriation of public funds. According to a statement by the EFCC's head of media and publicity, Dele Oyewale, on Tuesday, the officials who served in various capacities at Suburb allegedly conspired between 2018 and 2020 to divert government funds for personal use. The defendants pleaded not guilty to all charges, and while following their plea, the prosecution counsel, Andrew Akoja, requested a trial date and urged the court to remand the defendants to a federal correctional facility. However, the defense counsel, Abdullahi Lawal, made an oral application for bail. Justice Akambi adjourned the case to April 16, 2025 for further hearing and ordered that the defendants be remanded at the Nigerian Correctional Center in Ilorin. Benue State Governor Reverend Hyacinth Aliyah has mandated the police to provide security for members of the tribunals and others at the premises of the Makurdi High Court complex. A statement on Tuesday by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Mr. Tesu Kula, said the court premises in Benue State have remained closed since December due to the ongoing strike by the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, adding that all individuals and groups are directed to refrain from carrying out any form of activity within or around the court premises until further notice. The statement also said the local government election petition tribunals are utilizing some court halls for their proceedings and directs that only the election petition tribunals be allowed access to the designated court premises where they are sitting. He said, as a firm believer in the judiciary and the rule of law, His Excellency urges members of the public to remain calm and patient as they await the tribunal's decisions. Tragedy struck in the Abujan Quarter area of Bauchi Metropolis when a young man identified as Tafiyano Dalhatu, 20 years, was arrested for allegedly killing his mother, Salama Abdullahi, 40, with a pistol. According to a statement issued by the spokesman of the Bauchi Police Command, Ahmed Wakili, members of the Peace and Security Committee reported the incident to the A Divisional Police Headquarters on February 24, 2025 at around 3 p.m. Dalhato is accused of attacking his biological mother with a heavy pistol, fracturing both her hands and causing other severe injuries. Upon receiving the report, the Divisional Police Officer, Commissioner of Police Abdullahi Muazu, led a team of detectives to the scene and rushed the victim to Abubakar Tafawa Balewa Teaching Hospital for urgent medical attention. However, despite efforts to save her, a medical professional confirmed her death. Preliminary investigations indicate that a heated altercation between the suspect and his mother led to the attack. The police have since recovered the pistol used in the assault as evidence. Meanwhile, the State Commissioner of Police, CP Awal Musa Mohammed, has ordered the comprehensive investigation by the State Criminal Investigation Department and also reassured the public that the case would be handled diligently and in accordance with the law, adding that the suspect will face prosecution upon the completion of the investigation. Police has confirmed that the death toll from Sunday's tragic stampede at an alms-giving event in Bauchi State has risen to 7. Initially, 4 people were reported dead after being trapped while attempting to receive alms at Shafa Holdings Company PLC on Jos Road, Bauchi. However, the Bauchi State Police Command spokesperson, SP Ahmed Wakil, later confirmed that 3 more women had succumbed to their injuries. He said the incident occurred around 10:20 a.m. during the company's annual Zakat alms-giving exercise meant to assist the less privileged. 2 of the additional victims died at the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Teaching Hospital, while the 3rd passed away at home after being taken away by her family. A witness revealed several others, including women and children, were injured in the chaotic rush, while Wakili assured that more details will be provided as investigations continue. Jigawa State Governor Umar Namadi has approved a reduction in working hours for civil servants during the 2025 Ramadan fast. A statement on Tuesday by the Public Relations Officer of the State Head of Civil Service, Muhammad Dagaseri, in Duse, the state capital, Said, said civil servants in the state will now report to the office at 9 a.m. and close at 3 p.m. from Monday to Thursday. Dagaseri said the adjustment aims to allow civil servants more time to prepare for the daily Ramadan break and engage in spiritual activities, stressing that the importance of praying for peace and economic prosperity for both the state and Nigeria as a whole was inevitable. He also said the government's decision reflects his commitment to creating a supportive work environment for employees, especially during the holy month. You're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network, and we will be back after this break.
The board, management and staff of Morrison Media Group presents the 2025 anniversary lecture of Atlantic Television Network and Wish 99.5 FM. Theme: Imperative of Private Media in Sustainable Development.
Keynote speaker, Professor Tony Iradia, erudite scholar and broadcast guru. Chairman, Professor Umar Pert, President, Society of Broadcasters, Nigeria, and Vice Chancellor, Federal University of Kashiri, Gombe State. Panelists: Chief Honorable Arthur C. Kalabo, Information and Communication Expert. Dr. Harker Dwight, Lecturer, Public Relations, Media and Communication. Dr. Bekwele Lawrence D.K., Lecturer, Marketing Communication and Public Relations. Opaka Dakuba, Chairman, South Nigerian Union of Journalists. Susan Serakara Nwikana, Chairperson, Nawach, River State. Chief Host, Dr. Chinyere Igwe, Esquire, FSM, FIMC, FNIMN, MNIM, ARPA, MIPPA. Chairman, Morrison Group. Date: 10th of March 2025. Venue: Dimeji Banquet Hall, Gate Place Hotel, Kilometer 5 East West Road by Obirikwere Flyover, Rumosi, Port Harcourt. Time is 11 a.m.
Call Kehinde Paul Obofadi on 0802 301 5728. That is 0802 301 5728 or info@atlanticnetwork.tv or info@wishfm995ph.com. You can also call Laurentia Ogu on 0818 344 6746. That is 0818-344-6746 or lead content at atlanticnetwork.tv. This is signed by management.
Welcome back. This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the appointment of Shamseddine Babatunde Ogunjimi as the new Accountant General of the Federation. A statement issued by Tinubu's media aide, Bayo Onanuga, said the appointment came after a rigorous selection process and the appointment takes effect from March 7, 2025, the same day the incumbent Accountant General of the Federation, Oluwatoyin Madin, is expected to retire. Ogunjimi graduated from the University of Nigeria in Nsukka in 1990 with a Bachelor of Science in Accountancy. He also obtained a Master's in Accounting and Finance from the University of Lagos. He is a Fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria and the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. President Tinubu congratulates Ogunjimi on his appointment and urges him to discharge his duties in the service of Nigeria with integrity, professionalism, and dedication. Senate Committee Chairman on Aviation, Senator Fatai Buhari, has raised the alarm that Nigeria's aviation industry is bloated by old aircraft against the practice in developed nations. However, operators, regulators, and other stakeholders dismiss the claim, arguing that the age of an aircraft does not matter. Rather, the maintenance of airplanes should be given priority. The senator spoke in Lagos during the stakeholders' engagement of the Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development, and stakeholders deliberated on issues bordering on ground handling companies in the sector, airline operators, unruly passengers, etc. Buhari called on the sector's handlers to be patriotic in the discharge of their duties, emphasizing the need to prioritize Nigerians above personal interests. Responding, the Acting Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, Chris Najomo, countered the senator, adding that maintenance is the key thing for any aircraft and not necessarily the age of the airplane. The Vice President of the Airlines Operators of Nigeria and Chairman of Airpeace, Arlen Oyema, said Nigeria has one of the youngest fleets in the world, adding that while some foreign airlines parade aged aircraft, they clean and present the same as a new aircraft, causing passengers to think they are newer than Nigerian domestic aircraft. On his part, the Managing Director of the Federal Authority of Nigeria, Mrs. Olubunmi Kuku, said the senator called her attention to the need for internet installation within the entire passenger area of the airport. United Kingdom branch of the Commonwealth Parliament Association has thrown its weight behind the bill seeking for special seats for women and the National and State Houses of Assembly in views of the Constitution review exercise in the National Assembly. The request for the passage of the bill for the required Constitution amendment on women inclusiveness in governance was made by support for the bill by some members of UK Parliament during courtesy visits on the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, in Abuja. The leader of the delegation, Kate Ofune Osamo, who pushed for consideration and passage of the bill, said the UK branch of the Commonwealth Parliament is very interested in the legislative proposal aimed at better women inclusiveness in governance.
And the parliamentarians who are trying to get the special seats bill over the line. And I really would love to hear from you and know what you're doing to support this bill to ensure that it does happen. But I want you to also recognise this is a cross-party delegation. So we have come as cross-party members from the House of Commons and also from the House of Lords, which is very similar to the House of Senate. And we really want to learn from you and exchange ideas and start a very broader conversation. Because if this bill is able to get over the line, we can start looking at other things of how we can work together.
The bill seeking for special seats for women in Parliament is sponsored in the 9th and re-sponsored in the 10th National Assembly, seeks for amendment of Section 77, Paragraph 1 and 117, Paragraph 1 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It specifically seeks to establish 37 new seats in the Senate, one for each state and the Federal Capital Territory, FCT. The House of Representatives will add 74 seats, 2 for each state, and the FCT, just as it envisions the creation of 108 additional seats across the state houses of assembly nationwide, allocating 3 seats per state. In his response, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, said the bill would be given required consideration.
And the man said yes, but to water it, to get to this level, it will take 250 years. So you have a democracy and a parliament that has lasted for over a century. And here you have a parliament that has not lasted for up to 30 years. So we have a lot to learn from you. Your visit is going to be productive. We'll go into a bit of closed session, as we call it, to discuss the nitty-gritty of it. So what we call in Nigeria is clause-by-clause considerations.
Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, says the life of the 10th House will be a decisive term in the realization of gender inclusion and balance in politics and governance in Nigeria. The Speaker, who disclosed this when he hosted a delegation from the British Parliament in office in Abuja, said the 10th House has identified the need to ensure gender parity and has commenced the process of effecting constitutional reforms aimed at achieving the goal. Speaker Abbas said the diverse nature of the 10th House, given its multi-party origin, told the members of Parliament that not only is the House diverse in political representation, but also takes the issue of women and youth very seriously. The Speaker assured that the House, under his leadership, will play a decisive role in actualizing gender parity and called on the United Kingdom Parliament for supporting in actualizing the feat. Earlier, the leader of the delegation, Kate Ofume Osamo, a Nigerian-born British MP, said they were in the House to deepen the parliamentary diplomatic ties that exist between Nigeria and the UK, as well as to find out about the place of diversity and gender inclusivity in Nigeria's legislature and other aspects of governance. House of Representatives has extended the deadline for the submission of memoranda on the creation of new states and local governments to March 2025. According to a statement issued by the House spokesperson, Akin Rotimi, the decision was arrived at following public demand for additional time to refine and resubmit their legislative proposals in compliance with Section 8 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. This is coming after, on February 7, 2025, the House Committee on Constitution Review announced that it had received memoranda to create an additional 31 states, stating that none of the proposals met the constitutional requirements. According to the statement, to be eligible for consideration, proposals for state creation must meet specific requirements, including support from at least 2/3 majority of elected parliamentarians representing the affected area in the Senate, House of Representatives, State House of Assembly, and local government councils. For local government creation, the outcome of votes by the State House of Assembly and outcome of the referendum must be forwarded to the National Assembly for legislative action. The Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives and Chairman of the House Committee on Constitution Review, Benjamin Kalu, said the goal remains to facilitate a thorough and constitutionally compliant process that addresses legitimate aspirations for state and local government creation. Nigeria's House of Representatives has issued a 3-day ultimatum to oil companies that failed to appear before its investigative hearing into a 9.4 trillion naira debt owed to the federal government. The oil companies include Walter Smith Petroleum Limited, Adax Petroleum Exploration Nigeria Limited, AITEO Group, Britain U, and two others. The ad hoc committee conducting the investigation disclosed this after the companies shunned its earlier invitation that out of the 9 oil companies summoned, only Belema Oil Producing Limited honored the invitation. Belema Oil Producing Limited's team, led by its managing director, Ahmad Sambo, was however told to come back on Tuesday because of the late arrival of their documents to the committee. This is coming after the Nigerian lawmakers invited Adax Petroleum Exploration Nigeria Limited, AITEO Group, All Waste Energy Amalgamated Oil Company Nigeria Limited, Amni International Petroleum Development Company Limited, Belema Oil Producing Limited, Built-in Energy Limited, Britannia U, and Walter Smith Petroleum Limited to appear before it on Monday. The investigation was based on the Auditor General of the Federation's report submitted to the Public Accounts Committee that the amount owed the Nigerian government was unpaid royalties, concession rentals, gas flare penalties, and other obligations arising from production sharing contracts, repayment agreements, and modified carry arrangements. House of Representatives has called the federal government to strengthen waste management strategies to curb the rising threat of environmental pollution and its associated health risks across the country. This followed the adoption of a motion sponsored by Julius Pondi, the lawmaker representing Burutsu Federal Constituency, Delta State, during plenary on Tuesday in Abuja. Presenting the motion titled Waste, Pollution, and the Management of Its Impact on Health and Environment, Pondi lamented the growing challenges Nigerians face in handling waste disposal, particularly in the oil and gas sector and manufacturing industries, adding that ineffective waste management had continued to endanger lives, particularly in communities where industrial activities take place. Pondi further highlighted key contributors to environmental pollution, including hazardous industrial discharges, persistent gas flaring, crude and refined oil spills, particularly in the Niger Delta region, and poor domestic waste disposal practices. Following widespread support for the motion, the House urged the federal government through the Ministry of Environment to the National Environment Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, and the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency to step up enforcement of environmental laws to ensure a cleaner and healthier environment. It also called on states and local governments to collaborate with relevant agencies to ensure that oil companies, manufacturing industries, and small and medium-scale enterprises adopt safer and more sustainable waste disposal methods to prevent disease outbreaks. The House mandated its Committee on Environment to conduct a nationwide survey to assess the extent of environmental pollution and evaluate the level of compliance with existing waste management regulations. The committee is expected to submit its findings within 4 weeks for further legislative action. House of Representatives has called on the federal government to urgently strengthen security in Zamfara State, particularly in communities grappling with persistent attacks by armed bandits. The resolution followed a motion sponsored by Hassan Shinkafi, the lawmaker representing Shinkafi Zomi Federal Constituency, during plenary on Tuesday. Shinkafi, a member of the People's Democratic Party, decried the deteriorating security situation in Shinkafi and Zumi local government areas, where escalating attacks have led to widespread killings, maiming, and kidnappings, adding that the House is aware that the governor of Zamfara State is taking pragmatic steps to secure the state, including the establishment of the Security Trust Fund, community protection guards, intelligence sharing mechanisms, and logistical support for security agencies. He also said despite efforts by the state government, insecurity persists, leaving over 40 villages deserted as residents flee for safety, adding that military troops initially deployed to the area withdrew after 2 weeks, allowing bandits to regroup and resume attacks. Following overwhelming support for the motion, the House urged the federal government to direct the military to establish permanent, well-equipped security bases in Magaya, Koya, Kware, Dutsi, Mashema, Gobinboa, Boko, and Doli communities, within Shinkafi and Zomi local government areas, and also called on security and law enforcement agencies to collaborate with the Zamfara state government to curb the rising wave of insecurity. The House also mandated the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction to provide relief materials to victims affected by the violence in the constituency. Bill seeking the amendment of the Federal Polytechnic Act passed the second reading stage in the House of Representatives. The bill, co-sponsored by the Speaker Tajuddin Abbas and Lagos lawmaker Fuad Laguda, seeks to further amend the Federal Polytechnics Act Cap 17 laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 to make provisions for additional functions of polytechnics in Nigeria. Leading the debate on the general principles of the bill on Tuesday during plenary, Laguda said the amendment of the Principal Act had become necessary given the expanding scope and role of polytechnic education in the country. He said the Principal Act and the Federal Polytechnics Act laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 is an act of the National Assembly 2014 seeking to establish polytechnics in various parts of the country to provide full-time courses in technology, applied science management and other fields of studies, and to make provisions for the general administration of such polytechnics. He also said in order to drive efficiently an advancement of polytechnic education in Nigeria, the Act was amended in 2019 to increase the retirement age of staff of polytechnics and harmonize the tenure of office of rectors and other principal offices of polytechnics in Nigeria. The bill seeks to review and enlarge the membership of the Council with the inclusion of representatives of technical institutional bodies like the National Board for Technical Education and Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, enlarge the scope of functions of federal polytechnics in Nigeria with clearer and result-oriented administrative structure. Federal government, through the Ministry of Information and National Orientation, says 2025 will be a year when all the transformative reforms initiated by President Bola Tinubu's administration will begin to yield tangible benefits for Nigerians. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, who disclosed this assertion at the Ministerial Press Briefing series held on Tuesday in Abuja, said since the inauguration of the current administration in 2023, Nigerians have faced economic challenges resulting from various government policies, including the removal of the fuel subsidy and the unification of the foreign exchange market. Additionally, the government has approved a 50% increase in the cost of data and calls, and there are plans to raise electricity tariffs for non-Band A customers in the coming months. The measures have contributed to widespread economic hardship. However, Idris reaffirmed the government's commitment, stating that these reforms designed to foster economic growth, improve infrastructure, and enhance national security are expected to start delivering concrete results that will positively impact citizens across the country. He also highlighted that the recent signing of the 54.2 trillion naira budget by President Bola Tinubu, the largest in Nigeria's history, underscores the administration's dedication to economic growth, national security and infrastructure development, and also commended the Nigerian media for their dedicated coverage of the ministerial briefing section. Representatives of various youth groups have lauded the move by the current administration to reform the country's tax law. The youths who were speaking at the National Youth Dialogue on Tax Reform Bills, which was held at the National Assembly, Abuja, said the review will address contemporary challenges in fiscal policies. They said young people, particularly those engaged in micro, small and medium enterprises, are among the most affected by taxation policies, adding that most low-income earners in Nigeria are youths struggling to start businesses, rent homes, or make financial progress, and express their firm belief that the proposed tax reforms aim to ease this burden by ensuring
when we are discussing our tax reforms, it is impossible for us to execute it without technology. And we must recognize the fact that we must protect our sovereignty,
while
our
noting
tax
some
sovereignty
areas of concern which they
at this
said should be
time.
addressed.
Very
They called
important.
for a
Why is it
balanced exchange
important?
of views, adding that
About
as
2 years
good as
ago,
the bills
we
were,
saw what happened to
and
our
there were
banking
areas
system.
of uncertainty that needed some clarity for the
Just
benefit of
one of
Nigerians.
our
The chairman of the
major
House
internet
Committee on
backbones
Youth in
went
Parliament,
offline,
Honorable
and
Ayodeji Alao
transactions was
Akala, in his
affected.
remarks
Many
insisted that
people
delaying
couldn't
tax
use the
reform
banks for
any
a
further
while.
would be
We tried, very
detrimental.
frustrating.
The speaker, who
And
was
that's to tell you
represented by
that the
Honorable Leke
dependence
Abeje, lauded
on
the bills as catalysts of economic growth and national progress. National Pension Commission has inaugurated the Pension Industry Non-Interest Advisory Committee to strengthen transparency, security, and compliance in non-interest pension products. Speaking at the inauguration in Abuja, the Director General of PENCOM, Omolara Oloworara, said the move aligns with the Commission's commitment to innovation, inclusivity, and sustainability in pension administration, and the initiative would ensure that non-interest pension schemes adhere to global best practices while catering to individuals seeking financial solutions that align with their ethical and religious beliefs. He said the establishment of the advisory committee further highlights PENCOM's drive for financial inclusion, expanding the reach of non-interest pension products with the industry, adding that it provides an investment opinion that is free from interest-based instruments while still ensuring competitive returns for contributors. She explained that the rising demand for non-interest financial products, driven by increased awareness of ethical finance principles, made it necessary to establish a structured advisory framework to guard regulatory, operational, and market developments. The chairman of the committee, Professor Adam Abubakar, stressed the significance of a Sharia compliance monitoring system in Islamic financial institutions, stating that it plays a crucial role in ensuring compliance, building trust, and enhancing credibility in the sector, and assured that regulatory oversight is critical to maintaining investor confidence and ensuring that non-interest pension products operate in line with ethical and religious financial principles. The inauguration of the advisory committee marks a strategic step in deepening non-interest finance within Nigeria's pension industry, reflecting PENCOM's long-term vision of a more inclusive and diversified pension system. Federal government says plans have been concluded to reward innovative and resilient entrepreneurs who have excelled in their endeavors with prizes worth over 220 million naira. The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Job Creation and Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, Temitola Adekunle Johnson, who disclosed this in Abuja, said the on 8th edition of the National MSMEs Award beneficiaries will be rewarded with a house, shops, cars, and cash prizes as part of events to mark the 2025 MSMEs Week. The MSMEs Award is designed to commemorate the 2024 United Nations Worldwide MMSEs Days as part of efforts to recognize and support outstanding small businesses in the country, adding that the portal for registration and entries will be open for all Nigerian businesses to register on Friday. According to him, President Bola Tinubu's government is committed to putting smiles on the faces of Nigerians. He also said businesses of persons with disabilities will be recognized for their contribution to Nigeria's economy, adding that the government is concerned about the plight of MSMEs and is doing everything to alleviate them and boost their output. Transmission Company of Nigeria says the nation's power generation has hit 5,713.60 megawatts, the highest since 4 years ago. A statement on Tuesday, the TCN said the power sector had achieved a new peak generation for the 2025, which was successfully transmitted, and the feat was recorded on Tuesday, surpassing the 543 megawatts recorded on February 14. He clarified that though the new peak is 88 megawatts, lower than the all-time maximum peak generation, 5,801.60 megawatts recorded on March 1, 2021, and it remains a notable achievement, adding that the maximum daily energy also rose to 125. The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, also promised Nigerians that power generation would rise to 6,000 megawatts by December 2024, adding that it could not be achieved due to vandalism, grid collapses, and poor power infrastructure, stressing that at the moment, over 50% of Nigerians lack access to electricity. International Monetary Fund has warned Sri Lanka against fragile economic recovery that could be hampered by threatened trade union strikes over reduced benefits for government employees in this year's budget. Leftist Presidential Anura Kumara Disanayake's maiden budget raised public sector salaries but also made deep cuts to long-standing perks in a continuing effort to repair the island's nation's tattered finances. Sri Lanka's main doctors' union is considering a strike from Wednesday to protest against cuts to their allowances, while teachers are also considering stoppages. IMF team leader Peter Buriu said the budget was the last big push for Sri Lanka's austerity. Sri Lanka suffered an unprecedented economic crisis in 2022 that caused widespread shortages of food, fuel, and other essentials, while the island nation secured a $2.9 billion bailout loan from the IMF in 2023, almost a year after defaulting on its $46 billion foreign debt. Successive governments have since raised taxes and cut public spending to raise the state revenue, and the IMF released last week its fourth tranche of $334 million in its rescue packages for Sri Lanka, commending the country for adhering to its economic reform pledges. Iran says Turkey's criticism of its foreign policy risks worsening ties between the neighboring countries after Islamist rebels allied with Ankara ousted Syria's Bashar al-Assad. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan said Iran risks plunging the Middle East into disorder. Iran lists the so-called actors of resistance against Israel, which includes Hamas in the Palestinian territories, Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthi rebels in Yemen, and armed groups in Iraq, and also the main backer of Assad, who was ousted from power on December 8 following a lightning offensive launched by an Islamist-led rebel alliance with ties to Turkey. Iran hit back with Assistant Minister of Foreign Affairs Mahmoud Heydari, warning against false statements and unrealistic analysis that could lead to differences and tensions. Heydari made his remarks during what Tehran described as a meeting with Turkey's ambassador in Iran, Hikabi Kelanjik, while Foreign Ministry spokesman Esmaili Bakwai said Iran values bilateral relations with Turkey very highly, but that the government thought it was key to respond to the minister's remarks very clearly and decisively. 5 suspected poachers intercepted in Enedi East, Chad Republic, have been handed over to government officials. Zagazola Makama, a counter-insurgency expert focused on the Lake Chad region, disclosed this on Tuesday in a post on his X handle. He said the development marks a significant crackdown on wildlife crime in the region. According to the report, General Delegate of the government, Muhammad Tugu Chinumi, alongside the Director General of the Forest and Wildlife Guard, General Bokit Al-Deja, unveiled the suspect to the media, highlighting the severity of their alleged crimes. The arrest comes as Chad intensifies efforts to combat poaching and illegal wildfire trade, particularly in ecologically sensitive zones like Enedi East, while officials reaffirmed their commitment to protecting the country's biodiversity, warning that those involved in wildlife crimes will face the full force of the law. China says it will impose fresh tariffs on a range of agricultural imports from the United States next week in retaliation against Washington's recent tariff hike. Beijing's finance ministry said an additional 15% tariff will be imposed on chicken, wheat, corn, and cotton, while 10% tariff will be imposed on sorghum, soya beans, pork, beef, aquatic products, fruits, vegetables, and dairy products. Niger Tornadoes technical advisor Majin Mohammed is optimistic his team will shock fans after getting the backing from the home loss to Eyimba. The Ikon Ala boys will square up against Rivers United in a matchday 28 fixture at the Adokiye Simaka Stadium this weekend. This is coming after Niger Tornadoes suffered a 1-0 loss to Rivers United in the reverse fixture in Mina, and Mohammed said his team will aim for victory in Port Harcourt. Niger Tornadoes occupy 10th position in the league table with 37 points. Nigeria's Flamingos will jet out of the country on Wednesday for the first leg of their 2025 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup qualifying fixture against the Bantwanta of South Africa. The encounter will take place at the Lucas Moripe Stadium in Pretoria on Saturday. Head coach Bankole Oluwokere has selected 19 players for the game. Some of the players making the trip include goalkeeper Christiana Uzoma, defenders Hannah Ibrahim and Jumal Adebayo. Midfielders Shakirat Moshood and Muinat Rotimi, as well as forwards Harmony Chidi and Chiso Mwachukwu. The reverse fixture will be held at the Remo Stars Stadium in Ikene on Saturday, March 15. The winner on aggregates will progress to the third round of the qualification campaign, while Morocco will host the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup from October 17 to November 8. Former international Julius Agaoa has backed the Super Eagles to beat the Amavubi of Rwanda. The Super Eagles must secure maximum points against the East Africans to revive their 2026 World Cup hopes, and the three-time African champions are winless in Group C with 3 draws and 1 defeat. This is coming after Rwanda beat Nigeria 2-1 in the 2025 Rwanda Cup of Nations qualifier in Uyu last November. Agaowa is, however, confident in the Super Eagles will win this time around. Helen Mutimu, the Kenyan lady claiming to be Nigerian nightlife mogul, Pascal Okechukwu, aka Cubana Chief Priest baby mama, has challenged the socialite to a 100 meters race, I beg your pardon. Helen has claimed that she had a one-night stand with Chief Priest during a visit to Nigeria, which led to the birth of her son. She has been challenging the socialite to accept her offer of a DNA test to verify her claims. On the other hand, Cubana Chief Priest has repeatedly denied fathering a child with Helen, claiming that he invited her to come to Nigeria for a DNA test, but she declined and instead asked him to send her money because she and her son were hungry. In a recent Instagram post, Helen challenged Cubana Chief Priest to a 100-meter race, stating that if she wins, they will go ahead with the DNA test, and if he wins, the DNA test will be cancelled. Cubana Chief Priest is yet to respond to the challenge. Carl Dean, the husband of Dolly Parton, has died at the age of 82. The couples were married for almost 60 years, but the country music superstar kept out of the spotlight. Dolly met Dean in 1964 outside the Wishy-Washy Laundromat in Nashville, Tennessee. At the time, she was 18 and he was 21. They married 2 years later in May 1966 in a simple ceremony attended by only by Parton's mother, the preacher, and his wife. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. RSIEC calls for stakeholders meeting on Wednesday, March 5. Gunmen kidnap Catholic priest in Edo State. Tinubu appoints Babatunde as Accountant General. PENCOM inaugurates committee for non-interest pensions. IMF warns against strike in Sri Lanka. Flamingos move to Pretoria for South Africa clash. Dolly Parton's husband is dead. I am Francis Neka. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter at Atlantic TV Net, Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress.
The board, management and staff of Morrison Media Group presents the 2025 anniversary lecture of Atlantic Television Network and Wish 99.5 FM. Theme: Imperative of Private Media in Sustainable Development.
Keynote speaker, Professor Tony Iradia, erudite scholar and broadcast guru. Chairman, Professor Umar Pat, President, Society of Broadcasters, Nigeria, and Vice Chancellor, Federal University of Kashiri, Gombe State. Panelists: Chief Honorable Arthur C. Kalabo, Information and Communication Expert; Dr. Haka Tuwait, Lecturer, Public Relations, Media and Communication; Dr. Bekwele Lawrence D.K., Lecturer, Marketing Communication and Public Relations; Opaka Dakuba, Chairman, South-South, Nigerian Union of Journalists; Susan Serekara Nwikana, Chairperson, Nawach, River State; Chief Host, Dr. Chinyere Igwe, Esquire, FSM, FIMC, FNIMN, MNIM, ARPA, MIPPA. Chairman, Morrison Group. Date: 10th of March 2025. Venue: Dimeji Banquet Hall, Gate Place Hotel, Kilometer 5 East West Road by Obinkwere Flyover, Rumosi, Port Harcourt. Time is 11 a.m.
Call Kehinde Paul Obofadi on 0802 301 5728. That is 0802 301 5728 or info@atlanticnetwork.tv or info@wishfm995ph.com. You can also call Laurentia Ogu on 0818 344 6746. That is 0818 344 6746 or lead content at atlanticnetwork.tv. This is signed by management.